Upon entering the museum, on your left-hand side, there is a replica of the Samadhi Mandir. This is what the Samadhi Mandir looked like before 1954. In 1954, October, on Baba's Mahasamadhi Day, the idol of Baba was placed there. Before the idol, there was this silver throne on which an original photo of Baba was kept, and in front of it were Padukas. On the side were the peacock feathers that they had there, and then there was a chhatri or a umbrella, sort of a silver thing on top, and that is the way they had it till the idol was installed. At first there were very few people, so the Samsthan didn't think of having an idol. But as soon as they realized that more and more devotees are going to be flocking to Shirdi, so they thought that an idol should be placed there. So this is the replica of the Samadhi Mandir before 1954. Next to it is a gramophone. It has a His Master's voice record on it. It so happened once that a circus came to Shirdi and everybody was very excited about it, and they had this gramophone. Nobody had heard a gramophone at that time, so all the kids and the villagers went to hear this magical instrument which could produce music. When the circus left Shirdi, they gave it to Baba. This is a stone container which they have added a silver neck to it and a stopper. This was used for oil. Baba loved to light lamps and he'd keep oil in it. There are little niches where you can keep a diya. He would keep the lamp there. He would also light the steps and other things in the Dwarkamai. He loved lamps, so he would light it with the oil from there. The next photograph is the tin tumbrel. This is a tin can in which Baba, when he went for Bhiksha, would collect all the liquid materials. For him, it was always Gopal Kala. He had no taste. He was neither fond of anything, nor did he dislike anything. Whatever they gave him, it was all mixed together, and then he ate it like that. And next to that, there is a fan. And this fan would have been used when Baba was sitting for this Aarti in the Chowdi. Kaparde or one of the devotees would fan Baba when Aarti was being done, when he sat on the ladies' side where the Sivasana is kept now in the Chowdi. That is the place where the Sage Aarti was done. The Aarti started with the Sage Aarti. Because they put him to sleep, they had to make Kakar Aarti. Prior to this, there would be a Madhyana Aarti, which would happen at any time, sometimes 12 o'clock, sometimes 3 o'clock. But it was Radha Krishna Mai who saw that worship was done in the 4 prayer. That is in Brahmamurt, the Kakar Aarti is done. Exactly at Madhyan or 12 o'clock, the Madhyana Aarti is done. After that, the Pitrus are, we do Shraddh and other things, though the Pitrus are active. So no Aarti is done at that time. In the evening at dusk, when Krishna would come back with his cows, then the evening Aarti is done, Sage Aarti. and then night for Baba to sleep. You cannot have an even number. So there are 4 prayers, so there were 4 big artis. So they added Shirdi Maji Pandharpur, the Lagu Arti, in which Baba is given breakfast. These are Baba's chillums. There was a potter who would make chillums for Baba, and he would ask them to be brought when they were not baked really. So he would bring the chillums, and after some use, the chillums would break. So Baba gave it to, let him have a source of income by supplying the chillums to him. In 1954 or so, I remember that a whole lot of chillums used to be kept in the Dwarkamai. And subsequently they have been kept in the museum. The chillums were really long, and I guess Baba enjoyed smoking them. This is a chowri or a fly whisk like thing. Whenever you venerate a guru or you venerate God or you take a photograph of God, the chowri is used. We can see this during the arti in the Samadhi Mandir on the gents side and on the ladies side where Baba's head is, and then they will use the chowri and make movements like this. This is a handmill. It is very strange that Baba, when he did Annadan for 150 or 100 people, used this small little handmill. While the handmill in the Dwarkamai, that was used to grind the wheat, to get the flour, to throw it at the outskirts of the borders of Shirdi, to prevent Mahamari from entering, cholera from entering into the village. He wanted to appropriate the goddess of it. So he asked the 4 women to go and put the flour on the border of Shirdi. So when he's appropriated them, they are not going to enter into the village and there won't be deaths. That was Baba's cure for cholera. So, however, he had to feed so many people, he used a small little handmill. When one goes up and enters the hall on the top, the first thing that you see is a red Tazia. That is a sort of a fan-like thing that the pole bearers or sometimes Kaparde would carry it, sometimes Dixit would carry it during Baba's Palki procession. It is like an ornament, or it is like a nishan, which is an honor given to the person who they are taking in procession. It looks like it is a silk kafni, which does not look like a kafni at all. It looks more like a kurta from Fab India or something like that. As far as I know, Baba always wore a kafni of Manzarpat. He did, although the devotees wanted him to wear a coat or something, they would hold it above his body when he was sitting for Aarti, but they dared not put it on his body. Tazia, however, took the liberties of doing many things, but I doubt that Baba had a silk kafni. It looks like a silk kafni. And at the end of it, there is a coat, which is a velvet coat. Obviously, when you look at that coat, it is frayed in certain places. So possibly Baba used it, but as far as I know, he did not use these things. However, Tazia forced him to wear these ornamental things with gold embroidery and things like that. Then after that, there is an original photo of Baba sitting on the stone. That is the photo, the small photograph of it was given to Talim when he made the idol of Baba. Then next to that, it is a painting of a Palki procession. In this painting, one can recognize many of the devotees. This is Mureshwar Pradhan with a garland in his hand. The little child holding the platter is his son, Bapu Pradhan. Next to Mureshwar Pradhan is Butti, always looking down. He's holding Baba's arm under his armpit. Next to Baba is Nana Sahib Nimonkar, and the little child with the silver staff, that is Chota Sainath or Jaikar's son. Behind Nimonkar is Dasganu Maharaj. Behind Baba is Dixit. Behind Butti is Baguji Shinde, and next to him is Lakshmi Bai Shinde. There is a man with glasses in here, and that is Balaram Mankar. These are the devotees that I can recognize. This is a shawl which has an Om. When you look at the shawl in the museum, it looks as if one of the Om is in an reverse direction. However, that is not true, because I had asked the Samsthan about it. The shawl is worn like this. When it's worn like this, the Om is perfect. So it's not upside down as I thought it was. This is Manzarpat, that Tarkad used to be the manager of Khatau Mahajani Mills, and he used to get Manzarpat for Baba. Manzarpat is a coarse material like Khaddar, but it's really, really coarse. That is what Baba's Kafnis were made out of. And he would bring them in what you call a than, that he'd bring a huge big roll of it and give it to Baba, and Baba would ask Bala Shimpi to make the kafnis for him. And Tatya was responsible for putting his finger into the torn places and tearing it further, so that Baba was forced to get a new kafni. Although Baba in the afternoon would sit down and stitch the holes that were in there. But relentlessly, Tatya would tear it further, put his finger in and enlarge the holes, so that Baba was finally forced to take a new kafni. Next to that, there is a photograph of Baba, which they've taken out from another photograph of the group photograph. It is a painting, and they place Baba upon it. It is a Baba standing. These are Padukas of Baba. Here I have my own doubts. Baba used to walk barefoot. In fact, some of the devotees say, when it was wet and Baba walked to Lendi Baug or somewhere else, the footprints that came in the mud, they had these auspicious signs. Nimonkar says he saw a Vajra and a Dhanush. The Charitra says that there were markings, very auspicious markings on Baba's feet. And it was Muli Shastri who brought this to the forefront. He looked at Baba's feet and was so astonished that there were these markings on it, which are markings of Vishnu. And thus he told Baba, let me see your palm. And Baba gave him 4 plantains and said, no. Sort of. He said, if the feet have such great markings, then what must be on the palm of this great God? So that was the reason why he asked Baba to extend his palm so he could see it. The first photograph here is the whole museum compacted and it was to be kept in the Samadhi Mandir on the left hand side. After you enter from the Nandi, on your left hand side, there was a glass window in which you could see all the material, all the items that Baba used. When the museum was made, these items that Baba used were placed in the museum in a proper, very nice manner. This is the horse Shyam Karan. I have often wondered why the fakir would need a horse like a king. But if you look in the Upanishads about the meaning of the horse, it's the parts of the horse represents the whole cosmos as we know it. Like for instance, the 4 feet, like that 4 prayer, morning, noon, afternoon, night, evening. 1 foot represents something, the other foot the neighing of the horse is the thunder, its passing water is the rain, and so on and so forth. If you go through the Upanishads, every part of it is the cosmos as we know it. Now this cosmos would first bow to Baba. Baba would put Udi on the horse, and then he would give everybody else Udi. So symbolically, the cosmos is bowing to Baba after the Aarti. So imagine what a great God he was. The story of the horse, contrary to what is written in the Samsthan, this horse's name was Shyam Karna. He was called Shyam Karna because he was brown, and he had 1 ear that was black, Shyam and Karan. There was a horse trader called Qasim. He brought the mare to Baba saying, Baba, this mare does not have any foal. So Baba blessed the mare, and he said, when the firstborn, when the foal, it gives birth, then you give it to me. So he said, sure. And Shyam Karan was born, and he brought it to Baba, and he gave it to Baba very happily. Shyam Karan had a very wonderful life. He had nothing to do. The man next to him is Khasgiwala. Khasgiwala taught him how to dance. So whenever there was a Palki procession, as is written in the Sai Sat Charitra, he would be decked and he would trot in front of Baba, in front of the Palki, and then go and wait for the Aarti to start. Before the Aarti started, he would go and bow to Baba, and then he would dance. During the Aarti, he danced. Baba took Samadhi in 1918, and this horse took Samadhi in 1945. So he would go to Samadhi Mandir and dance in the center where people now give, the Chopdars give lalkari. He would dance there for Baba's Aarti. Shyam Karan Samadhi is in Lendi Baug. It is next to Muktaram Samadhi. It is the real Samadhi of this horse. And the Rinana Bandh between the horse and Baba was so great that Baba loved this horse very much. The bridle and all the paraphernalia that he wore, the jewelry sort of that the horse is kept in the showroom, which is in front of you as you enter the hall below. And he was decked up, and then he went and danced for Baba in a very nice fashion. He just had to exercise and learn the steps, and that was his life. He was fed well and looked after beautifully. The next photograph in here is this coiled up material that is made into a circle. This is a thing that if you go to the village, you see people have it on the head and they carry a matka. So Baba had a matka and the Dwarka Mai, so most probably this was kept there so that it would balance the matka for water. This is a Rath that is in the museum in the central portion, and the names of the devotees who donated it are given that. Baba never sat in the Rath, nor did he sit in the Palki, but he walked by the side. So the Rath is taken out on the 3 major festivals. On the first day, the Palki goes. On the second day, the Rath goes. And then they have Gopal Kala. So the Rath is being used. However, the original one is kept in the museum. This is a Palki that was given to Baba. Baba never sat in the Palki. This is the bathing stone. Baba rarely had a bath in the physical body. However, one knows that there are various kinds of snan. It can be Vayu snan. When they walk from place to place, these saints, their body gets cleaned by the air. Agni snan, like Sharda Mai would sit and then there'd be fire burning all over and she'd sit in that thing, and that would be Agni snan. There will be Bhasma snan, and there would be Bhagirathi or snan that we have. Baba rarely took a bath with water. However, he would say he went to the Ganga and had a bath, or he went to the Jamna and he saw that. And he, in any case, because he sat so close to the Dhuni, he had Bhasma bath, and then when he went to Lendi Baug, he had Vayu bath. When the devotees would put the head on Baba's foot, it smelt of musk and roses. It was so clean and so beautiful, and it was, Nimonkar says, it was like the foot of a 12-day-old baby. It was so soft, like butter. And even the ladies who used to massage Baba's feet would say that it was so soft. They had never felt such softness in their life. However, there is a story in the Charitra in which Megha is determined to give Baba a bath. And Baba says, what do I need a bath for? And he says, no, you are my Shankar, I have to give you Ganga Snan. So he goes all the way to Kopargaon, carries the water on his head and brings it and waits for Baba. And Baba says, just let me go free. Then finally, after pestering him a lot, Baba says, just pour water on my head. The head is the most important organ in the body, and that is as good for a bath. But in his enthusiasm, Megha says, Har Har Mahadev, and he pours the whole pot of water on Baba. And then he stands aside, quite happy with what he's done, and he says that only Baba's head is wet and the rest of his body is dry. And this would have been the stone that Baba sat on, so that's Baba's bathing stone. There was a devotee from Nasik who had a mental illness, and he would collect Baba's water as it flowed down, and he would drink it, and he got cured up there. Even today, Baba's Mangal Snan, Tirth, is taken as Tirth and given to patients who have cancer, who have problems with illness, mental and physical, and it works wonders, even today. Then we come to the pots. Again, Baba does something very contrary. The small pot he uses to feed 150 people for Annadan, and the big pot he uses to feed 100 people. So just like the hand mill, he does the reverse. These, like Lord Shri Krishna, when the procession happens, they would carry these banner-like things in which Lord Hanuman is there. Hanuman is always there in front of the Rath of Arjun's Rath, and so also in front of Baba. This cot is in the hall below, and as you make a turn, it's on your left hand side. This was the cot on which Baba was laid for 36 hours, and his last bath was given to him on this cot. If you go to the museum these days, you find a bed put on it. Baba never ever slept on a bed, and it's quite impossible for him to have a last bath on a bed. The material that is written below is perfect. It says that how Baba was laid there, and he had his last bath on it. Where the bed came from, one doesn't know. When Baba slept, he slept in the Dwarkamai with Tatya, Malsapati, and himself. The feet together, the head apart. He slept on the sacks. Otherwise, he slept on that plank that was given to him by Nana Sahib Dingle, which was tied to the rafter. Or he slept in the chowdi alternate days on the 60-70 chadars on the male side where the Sivasana is put. Where does this bed come from? Many people who don't know too much about it, as they just walk by, say, Baba slept on that bed. That is the place where the Antim Snan, which is very important, the last Antimeshti is done. The most important thing is to have a bath and then go into the, for us, into the Smashan Bhumi, and for Baba to go in his final resting place in Butiwada. The next is a wheelchair. Baba had asthma, and one of the devotees was very concerned about him. He loved Baba so much. So he brings a wheelchair to Baba and says, Baba, in your old age, you won't be able to go around, so please sit in this wheelchair and somebody will push you around. Baba did go around, and he went to Lendi Baug and even Bhiksha right till up to his Samadhi. Yes, he would use the help of the devotees going to Lendi Baug, and many times Purandare, he writes how he felt very bad and he lifted Baba and took him. So with the help of his devotees, he managed to keep the daily routine till his Mahasamadhi. This is a marble idol of Dattatreya. I don't know where this came from. I have no knowledge of it. Then there's the Murti of Krishna, Lord Krishna, Hanuman, Ram and Sita. I doubt that this is the idol that was supposed to be made, ordered by Bhutti to be placed in the Sanctum Sanctorium, where Baba's Samadhi is now there. Bhutti was a millionaire then, and he wouldn't have asked for a clay idol, and so small an idol in such a big hall. I doubt. But I don't know about this. When one goes to the hall upstairs, just before, when you finish your rounds and just as you're going to exit, there is a stool on which there is a cloth which has squares on it. This is called Songate. Just like in the Mahabharata and the story of Sakuni Mama playing the chess-like game in which he cheated, Baba, whenever he slept in the Chowdi, oftentimes he would play this game with Tatya and Malsapati and the rest of the devotees. And of course, Baba would cheat, and so they would be screaming and shouting and having a whale of a time. Radha Krishna Mai would send them milk and water and all the things. So Baba would play this game, which is called Songate. So that is the one thing. And there's another thing which is kept next to the chillum. Now it is kept on top of this board, like the cloth board. It looks like a scrape of the foot. Years ago, we used to have these clay scrapers where you could take off dead skin from your feet. It is a very uneven surface. That is a flint. In those days, the matchsticks were huge, the sticks were very large, and he would strike against it and then light his chillum. So that is a flint that was used for Baba. And I think we've done with the museum. Do see the museum. It is so powerful because Baba's original things are there, and it is a treat to see. It is so well made and beautiful. Sai Ram.